Welcome back to another episode of Multiblock Madness, where today I would like to get alloys finally. Last episode we set up this slightly intimidating looking contraption to use mechanical power as both a way to generate water and power the mixer. Right now all this takes as input is burnable items in this chest, then they get distributed between these two steam engines. Which combine their mechanical power, which is 20 each, and it gets sent to this gearbox, which then divides it to the pump if this tank is low enough, and the mixer so it's 40 RP if we don't need to use the pump, it's 20 each if the pump needs to work. So what that will do as a recap is to make it so we can make faster recipes more of the time. The last thing we need for the mixer to work is ember. So what we're going to be doing, a couple things actually. One thing we need to work on is getting a more reliable source of embers, because right now I threw a thing of coal into the bore. I would like to get it transferred over to mechanical power at some point. Maybe this episode, we'll see. I'd also like to set up steam, because if we're going to be using this melter to double our ore, we may as well get steam as a byproduct, because it's free, basically. And if we're already doing it, then why not? So three tasks, I suppose. Finish automating the melter, automate the bore using mechanical power, and automate the mixers input. So I'm going to use, let's see, I'll use this one to go up to another copper cell on top of there. So let me craft up a copper cell, and I think that's pretty much going to be it. So I'll be back after that's crafted. Just crafted up the time in a bottle. I'm going to grab the gold gear from that. Everyone on my team can just grab this. Oh, cool. Another hardened upgrade kit. Actually gonna, well, I suppose we already have one, so I'll just quick stack it. Frame drawers. Okay, cool. Let's see if there's anything I want to mess with here. Maybe this? Actually, yeah, let me whip that up real quick. Oh, inventory's kind of bugging right now. Well, actually, let's put this in my backpack. Put that, 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 that. What do I want that? Quick stack a couple of things here. Oh, more went away than I expected. I'll keep these gears because I have a feeling. Oh wow, nice. I have a feeling like we're going to be needing more gears. I'm not sure if we are, but can't hurt. I'm gonna get rid of the copper ore as well. Actually, we're not, because we're gonna need to use it in our melter setup. Also, I made the copper cell. Black dye. Let's see. I think we have, yes, we do. One of those, I think it was an iron ingot and maybe a redstone, yeah. Okay, boom. Crafting calculator, I'll just hang on to that. Honestly, it might be cool to have this go into the caustic tone. That'd be kind of neat. Okay, that is probably, yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to show. So I will be back in a minute when I have a plan for the melter. Real quick, I was just going by my setup here and I decided to switch this over to a single lever. So these can effectively be turned off by one lever, or their fueling can be. That way I can switch it on or off with one lever. Okay, I have hooked up the melter or the ember to the mixer, and I didn't set up the melter yet, but we can now make alloys. So I'll do that before I set up the mixer. Or the melter. So what we're going to do is grab a couple ingots. Specifically, we're going to want, well, I guess we'll do, do we have copper anywhere? I think we do. So if we don't have it there, we must have it at one of, oh, so it must be my, wait, where did I put it? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to make some bronze. I'm also would like to make some Invar. So what I'm going to end up doing here is after I unlock the quest, where's it? Nickel. There you are. After I unlock the quest, I'm going to finish setting up my melter stamper combo so that I can well, that's actually kind of awkward. So I wonder if I'm voiding material. No, I'm not voiding. So that's good. So let's see. Okay. So this does not actually work exactly how I thought it would. Basically what we need to do is make it so that it's within a range. How can I do that? Because I'm pretty sure with this, it will always, well, the ways that I know how to do it. Okay, I will be back. Still trying to figure this thing out. One of the things that I think might help is the redstone observer. This requires ender pearls, which I do not have. However, I do have a bunch of this ender dust, and if you don't know already, what you can do is blow it up for 75% chance, or craft it for a 1 or 4 to 1. So I'm going to try blowing it up. That was a pretty good one, actually. I gotta deal with this hole. Okay, I'll be back when I've got it figured out. Okay, I am back and I have solved the issue by using this logic gate. I've got a comparator here that outputs a signal if there's anything in the tank, and then I have this comparator which outputs a signal if the tank is full, or if it's equal to 15, which is this lever. Then we've got two logic effectively. If they're both off, in other words, the tank is empty, then it turns off the redstone signal, which will then turn on this gear, which will then turn on the pump. If they're both on, it will turn the redstone signal on, disabling the pump until the tank is empty again. If if either one is off, if it's just one or the other, it keeps the previous signal. So that will allow it to essentially fill up the tank and then drain the tank instead of toggling on and off, allowing me to use the full 40 for the majority of the crafts, uh, which is obviously the goal. So, smart output. I think I'm gonna have to end up with a bottle here. There it is. There is the quest. This is gonna be 3 updates, or 3 episodes later. That finally unlocked. We'll grab that token. We'll grab casting table. That'll unlock steel. Now, if you haven't already seen it, I allow you to get the Cheater's Thaumonomicon, because, well, it can be a bit tedious to do research, especially if you've done it in multiple packs. So one of the decisions that I made is to have it an option to bypass research. And then that gives you a bunch of warp, so you have to clear the warp with this. And these just clear the different types of warp. There's permanent, temporary, and regular. That'll clear all of it. There's a bunch of add-ons for Thaumcraft, which are pretty cool. You can do some pretty awesome stuff. It'd be kind of fun to check these guys out. Actually, now that I am saying it, I think it would be fun to check out some spells. These foci, these focus crystals, can make some really cool custom spells that I feel like hardly ever get used. This rift is cool. I remember Lil Deets using a rift. Look awesome. Arcane Mine. Well, that's neat. Scatter. Okay. Split. Bolt. Cloud. Ooh, that's neat. Spellbat. That sounds awesome. You could have a cloud. Well, I'm assuming you can't have both of these, but you could have a Spellbat that can heal you. That sounds awesome. Or like fiery Spellbats. I gotta check this out for sure. But not this episode. Let's see. I'd like to get, let's see. I tried a bunch of stuff for that. Copper I've also been AFK for quite some time. I tried a bunch of stuff to make that work over there, and I think that what I came up with works out really well. Also going to need, I think the next thing to do is to set up the mixer properly this time. So let's do that. I think that I can probably do it. Well, I could do it all in one go, but I am just gonna cut because It's nothing particularly interesting. One thing that I will do is use boilers to get steam. That way I can use the steam engine in addition for some free power, so I don't have to continuously use coal. I also have this bookmarked so that I can chop down trees, collect the wood, and cook it into charcoal. So let's see. Where are the ember receptors? They're there. Boiler, tank. Okay, well, I'll cut and I'll be back when I have a plan on how I want to set this up. Okay, I am back and I am doing a little bit of melting quartz so that I can get fused quartz. I'm just gonna use a little bit of a little more embers pipes to pull the output out. That way I can use casting basin. However, I think I'm gonna need that as well. And I could just replace this with fluid, but as far as I know, embers requires to have an extractor as well as a pipe. There we go. That should work, I think. Either way, no big deal. If it doesn't, we'll just have to fix it. Yeah, this is still running on the stack of charcoal. It's been a couple hours. This is very effective. Here's our little ore processing setup. Obviously, the embers are not automated right now, but essentially it's just the activator shoots the embers into the battery shoots it into the stamper as well as the melter. Next up is going to be to extract some steam. So the steam comes out the top. And actually the reason why I was making the fused quartz you saw earlier was so that I could get some of these pressurized fluid conduits. So that's going to be coming up pretty soon. I really should harvest those, but the loot is pretty mediocre. Okay, cool. This is still working. I put a stack of quartz in, so it should go pretty good. Man, this is a really good setup here. Definitely recommend for anyone who hasn't done this yet. This is a little weird looking, but obviously it works. So here we go, filling the water back up. With a bigger tank, it would have more on time, which is good. It's made up a little bit more charcoal for later on. We're also running out of wood, so I'm gonna have to make up the small tree cutter. Although now that I'm thinking about it, we actually have access to bonsai. There's two ways to make bricks. You can either use the mason's work table, which requires a little bit of grout, or you can use the packager, which I think requires some RF. This just requires a little bit of archaic brick, which I think we have enough of. 4 there, 5 there, cool. And then it also requires copper plates, blah, 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 blah. let's see. So we'll bookmark that. Oh, I already did. Cool. And then we'll bookmark that. Sure. And that. Not too worried about sand generation right now. I should make this brazier of holding, just so I can get it out of the way. It looks like I can make that. All I need is some charcoal. Requires logs, okay. I think it was 3. Yeah. Oh, and also there's some light blue for the packager. Okay, so the brazier of holding, basically anything you put into it goes into the network, which is pretty handy. Gives me some sales Mondays. Pick up that. Oops. Get some raw radiant quartz. I probably don't need it at this point. Yeah. Oh, there's. How do I have? Oh my word! I just crafted up one because I couldn't find copper cell. I have no idea how that happened, but it totally did. Okay. So far so good. These radiant troves, I do actually think that I'm gonna make. Requires a little bit of redstone and I think some gold nuggets. So let's get some of that stuff. Boom. I know we're gonna need a bunch of these guys. And there's the matrix. That requires a radiant chest. Okay. So I'm gonna go off the in-world crafting of this real quick. Because I can. There we go. And now we got Radiant Trove. Now, one thing that's cool about these, when an item is inserted into a brazier of holding, it actually will prioritize troves. So in that way, they can be used similarly to ender chests. Okay, so I must have gotten picked up by this thing. No. Okay, so the idea is that I could, was it planks? I think it was. Or was it? No. What I'm gonna do is make, oh, that's right, I didn't want zero folder. I also wanted to make the infinite lava as well. Radiant dust, It was wood, not planks, okay. Okay, so what I'm thinking about doing is a system where I've got my brazier of holding for the item input. Although now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I want to try and make some conductive or pulsating iron before I go too much farther. Maybe we'll go with 16. Okay, this should work, yes. It requires 40, which means that while it's filling the tank up, it won't work, but we just filled it up, so we're in luck. And this will make the molten form, which means we're going to want the smart output again. No big deal. And then that's going to require that. Perfect. There. Awesome. And there's fluid. These just require the nuggets. And then some conduit binder, which I think we already have crafted. So I'll cut here and I'll be back when I have the bore set up. Okay, so how I have this set up is a hopper underneath, which leads to this brazier of holding. What that will do is any embers items will go over to the network. And then I have a radiant trove here with nothing in it currently, connected to a hopper, connected to the core, which basically means that anything that enters the network, that's the item that's going to be stored in here, which is going to be charcoal, gets fueled. Meaning that if we put charcoal into a brazier of holding upstairs, it will automatically get fueled. It'll fuel the bore. I'm gonna do a couple things. Did I set a home? Did. Probably still quicker. Okay. So now all I've got to do is grab some charcoal to set the type. Check my embers. I'm not sure if I have it anywhere. Let's find out. It was grit for sure. I'm not sure what I did with the rest, but it's relatively unimportant. I'm still hoarding stuff in my inventory, but it's fine. So I need to set up automated fueling for the bore. That's fine. We will figure it out. So first thing I'm going to do is lock this to charcoal. Cool. And then I'm going to do a test. So if I put this in here, wait. That's kind of weird. Interesting. Well, that should have gone into there, but obviously it didn't. So I wonder what that means. Well, it certainly sees it. Okay, so we should have Ember stuff now. Not yet. It's like this brazier of holding is not connected to the network for some reason. Either that or it's technically possible that I put it in the wrong spot, but I don't think that's the case. Although I guess it is possible. Not sure why that's not working exactly, but that's all right. So we'll set these guys up. We'll set up the, let's see, small one to here, I guess. And then the big ones, I suppose we'll keep for now. So we'll put these guys right here. And the crystal, so that just has 2 now. 1. So in theory, if I put some charcoal in, oh, I can also shift right click to clear that. I just found that out. Put this in here. Huh. Thought that worked differently than it did. Where did it end up? All of it's downstairs. Cool. And now there's 3 in here. Still one of those. Oh, now there's 2. Cool. Well, it's not exactly automated, but it is pretty cool. So let's go over it again real quick. We made some more pulsating iron. Let's keep that in there for now. We've got embers, more or less automated. This will fill up, that'll fill up, blah, blah, blah. This will fill up when it's not working. Right now, it's just going to keep running until everything is used up pretty much. Going pretty good so far. It's going to keep dropping stacks of ore in to be processed. And then we'll give it a quick check. 4, 2. Not bad. So it is working. I'm not sure why it wasn't, but I did some crystal growth powder here, as well as here. I think I did some here too, I'm not sure. Okay. Yep. So there's the charcoal, and then yep, that'll keep basically teleporting the stuff to our base. So the only thing we need to do now is make sure we have a source of charcoal, and we're all set. So that's going to be it for this episode, and I hope to see you next one.